Welcome back to Get Down to Business, this show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. I'm thrilled to be joined by an award-winning motivational keynote speaker, business coach, corporate trainer, executive coach, and Podcast of the Year recipient. That's Daniel Gomez, who has over 2 decades of experience in the arena of leadership development and team building, sales, training, customer service, and coaching. Really, really important timing for this conversation as everybody's getting into that new year spirit. He's the international best-selling author of You Were Born to Fly. Daniel, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and add some value to your audience, man. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. So let's start with you for a moment before we leave our listeners with some very valuable tips. Daniel, when did you get into this important area that you're so passionate about?
Man, in 2017, I thought I had life figured out, money in the bank, house was paid off, Corvette, you name it, we had it. And then cancer came knocking on our door. My wife was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and our world got flipped upside down. Made a decision to retire to take care of her. And man, God healed her. So I just felt in my heart that a voice said, go speak to the world. And I was just crazy enough to follow it. And 6 years later, January 21st, this year coming up, 2024, I've shared the stage live with Les Brown, Tom Bilyeu, John Maxwell, and some other prominent speakers. And I don't plan on stopping, man. It's just been God's goodness. So I'm excited.
Absolutely incredible. And again, I'm so grateful that you and your wife, we were just talking offline, are doing well and positioned for a fantastic new year. I want to talk about that for our listeners. All of our listeners are leaders. They're leaders of, as you always say, great influence. I want to talk about leadership for a moment. How does somebody go from being, just in our case, entrepreneurs, business owners, to all of a sudden being that passionate leader and making an impact in the world? What's some of the advice that you'd share with them?
Well, you have to have confidence. I think if we think about sports, nobody wins the NBA finals without confidence. Nobody wins the NFL Super Bowl without confidence. And as a leader, you have to have confidence in the abilities that you've been given by God, right? You have abilities, you have capabilities, but many people, they have a low self-image, a low self-esteem. So I think to be a very successful leader, you have to have a good self-image. And that's one thing that we really work on our coaching, because you'd be surprised how many leaders have a poor self-image. Why is that important? Because when you have a poor self-image, you're that leader that's a dictator, and you micromanage everybody because of your insecurity. So that's something that we definitely work on with new business owners and top-notch organizations, because without the right self-image, you're going to be a bad leader, my friend.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you talk so frequently about is communication, whether it's both internal, external, but sharing that vision. Let's talk a little bit about it. What advice would you share with our listeners?
Well, the thing is this, is that we speak from our point of perspective, from our point of view. And a great leader, you have to learn to really speak to the 4 dominant personalities. Every individual, every human being has their own personality. And it's a leader's responsibility to figure out, okay, what is the language of that employee, of that team member? Somebody's an introvert, somebody's an extrovert, somebody's amiable, somebody's a Ruby. And I think the problem that we make many times in leadership is we speak our language. And a great example, what do you mean, Daniel? Well, let me say, if I was to send you an email and it's 20 pages, I wouldn't read it because that's not my language. But many times as leaders, we document a long email and I ain't going to read that. So next thing you know, it's like you don't speak the language of your employee. So to learn the language of every employee. What do they really like to communicate? What right? Do they like long form, short form? So there's so many different variables, and that's something that we do in our corporate trainings.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you also talk about is, again, along those themes of communication and again, making that influence as a leader, is there's the internal piece of things within your own organization. And by the way, this is true whether you're a 2-person shop or whether you're, the next Forbes 100. But the other piece that you speak frequently about across the country and on your podcast is about selling. Selling is that the customer is buying you. What should our listeners know on that topic?
Well, the thing is this, is that before they buy any product, before they buy any service, the customer, the organization, the B2B is buying you. They're buying your energy, they're buying your smile, and they're buying you if you're a person of integrity. You can't, right? The main thing is, I like to switch the word out sales with the word help. When you help people, everybody needs help, but not many people are receiving of it, right? They're not receptive of it. So maybe use the word help. Let me help you because people need help nowadays. People are depressed. People don't even know how to run businesses, and the market's shifting, and they hear all this negative just news on the news. And the thing is this, is that you got to learn how to sell and communicate to the audience that you want to help. And the truth is this, is that so many people, they have the wrong identity with the word sales, right? They don't want to be salesy as a salesperson. Well, it's not being salesy, because if your product, if your service solves a problem that the marketplace needs, then you got to not be scared to put it out there. And I think so many people, they have the wrong approach, Shalom.
Absolutely. Daniel, you've got so much to share, and we have such a limited time to cover. So I want to make sure, as one of those homework assignments, we get people in touch with you and your team. Daniel, you speak all over the country, but I know you've got a lot of content out there on the web. How can people get in touch with you and learn more?
Well, the first thing they want to do is text the word millionaire. That's the word millionaire to 210-942-5059. Text the word millionaire to 210-942-5059, 5059. And they're going to get a free PDF from the Makings of a Millionaire Mind, because it all starts with mindset. And then the next thing you want to do is send me an email directly. I love giving complimentary discovery sessions. You can email me at daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com. That's daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com. Shalom.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you and your beautiful family. And I definitely will link in the show notes as well. Looking forward to our next conversation. Take care.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back and get down to business.